In 1983, U.S. military intelligence produced one of the strangest documents ever made public. At the center of it was something called the Gateway Process, a system built around deliberately changing human consciousness. Through sound, training, repeated exercises, the goal was to move a person through increasingly unusual states of awareness. And military intelligence wanted to know how far those states could go. Could awareness move beyond the body? Could a person perceive a place they had never physically entered? Could consciousness reach information hidden behind walls, borders, and distance? Could it reach into the past? Could it reach toward the future? Today, Project Gateway has become almost legendary. Declassified documents, CIA archives, remote viewing, out-of-body experiences, stories about intelligence agencies experimenting with the limits of the human mind. But buried inside the 1983 Gateway Assessment is another story. Because when military intelligence tried to explain how Gateway could possibly work, it reached backward, toward the work of a man who was already dead. His name was Itzhak Bentov. Bentov was an engineer, an inventor, a man accustomed to building things, measuring things, and asking why they worked. When meditation began producing unusual sensations inside his own body, Bentov did not stop at the experience. He tried to understand it. He studied the tiny movements produced by the heartbeat, the movement of blood through the body, the subtle motion created with every pulse. And from those observations, he began describing the human body as a resonant system. Rhythm, oscillation, frequency. Then his questions became much larger. Could changes in the body's rhythm affect the brain? Could deep meditation change the way consciousness processes information? Could our normal waking state be only one narrow band of perception inside something much larger? Bentov measured what he could. He drew diagrams, explained his reasoning, and built a model from it. A model in which consciousness was not treated as something simply trapped inside the skull. A model in which our experience of time could change as consciousness changed. A model reaching toward a larger informational reality, what Bentov called the absolute. He didn't stop at the experience. He measured what he could, diagrammed what he observed, and built a model from it. Then he did something important. He made it public. In 1977, Bentov published Stalking the Wild Pendulum on the mechanics of consciousness. The diagrams were there. The reasoning was there. The model was there. His name was on it. Anyone could buy it. Anyone could read it. Anyone could challenge it. Bentov was pushing the knowledge outward, toward people, toward understanding, toward the possibility that consciousness was far larger than we had been taught to imagine. And he was not finished. Then, on May 25, 1979, Bentov boarded American Airlines Flight 191. Shortly after takeoff from Chicago, the aircraft crashed. Bentov was killed. His work was unfinished. Notes remained. Drawings remained. Material for another book remained. His wife, Myrtala, would later gather surviving material and publish more of his work. But Bentov himself was gone. The man was gone. His life's work was not. And this is where the story becomes suspicious. Look at the timeline. In 1977, Bentov publishes his work publicly. In 1979, Bentov dies suddenly, leaving that work unfinished. In 1983, his model appears inside a military intelligence assessment of Project Gateway. That sequence is suspicious. Bentov was gone. His work was not. And by the early 1980s, Project Gateway had become important enough for military intelligence to demand something deeper than descriptions of strange experiences. Gateway was a structured system associated with Robert Monroe, sound, guided exercises, training, a sequence of increasingly unusual states of consciousness. People could describe what happened to them. Gateway could tell them what exercise to perform, but there was still a missing piece. How? Not what happened. How could it happen? How could consciousness appear to function beyond the normal limits of the body? How could information appear without ordinary sensory access? Why should Gateway work at all? Then came 1983. 4 years after Bentov's death, military intelligence officer Wayne McDonnell produced analysis and assessment of Gateway process. And when McDonnell went looking for the physical mechanics behind Gateway, he turned directly to Bentov. The resonance, the oscillation, the relationship between the body, the brain, and altered states of consciousness. Bentov's model became part of the bridge McDonnell used to explain why Gateway might work. The man was gone. His model had entered the intelligence world. And once Gateway had that deeper explanation, the questions changed. This was no longer simply, what happens to consciousness in an altered state? The question became, what can we do with it? Could we spy on an enemy without physically being there? Could someone sit in one location and observe another location hundreds or thousands of miles away? Could they look inside a restricted facility without entering it? Could they see what was happening behind walls, inside military installations, inside places where no agent could safely go? Could information be collected without crossing a border, without a camera, without a microphone, without putting a human spy inside the target? Could consciousness reach backward and recover information from the past? Could it reach forward towards something that had not happened yet? And if another country discovered the same capability, how would you stop them from looking at you? Now the attraction becomes obvious. Gateway was no longer only about entering another state of consciousness. It was about what could be done once you were there. The assessment explored distant targets, information beyond physical access, out-of-body observation, accessing information associated with the past, and then pushing further toward information associated with the future. It considered non-physical intelligence, defensive measures, countermeasures, the possibility that others could develop similar abilities. This was no longer meditation for meditation's sake. This was the possibility of spying without physical access. Distance mattered less. Walls mattered less. Borders mattered less. Potentially, even time mattered less. And that changes the entire story, because Bentov had been asking what consciousness could reveal about reality. Military intelligence was asking what consciousness could take from it. None of this required a new discovery. It required a new purpose. The knowledge did not change. What it was for did. Bentov's book was public. His ideas were public. His diagrams were public. But when the same territory began to look useful for intelligence, the application moved behind classified doors. Could consciousness become a way of seeing what the enemy was doing? Could it reach places ordinary intelligence could not? Could altered states be trained deliberately? Could those states become useful for espionage? Bentov made the knowledge public. Military intelligence made the application secret, not the theory, the application, because once consciousness becomes a possible way to see where you are not supposed to see, it stops being only philosophy, it becomes power. And then something strange happened to the story itself. Bentov's books survived. His name survived. His work was never physically erased. But the significance of what he was trying to understand never entered ordinary culture in proportion to what he believed he had found. Most people have never heard his name. Most people can pass through school, through university, through most of their lives, without seriously confronting the questions Bentov spent years asking. What is consciousness? What is it capable of? What relationship does it have to the body, to time, to reality itself? Instead, decades later, millions of people would enter this territory through something else. Project Gateway, remote viewing, declassified intelligence files, CIA archives, secret program documentaries. The institutional version became famous. Bentov became obscure, but his work did not disappear with him. It continued into a world that was asking very different questions from the man who had published it. Bentov had asked what consciousness could reveal about reality. Military intelligence wanted to know whether consciousness could be used to see the enemy. Could we see across distance, through barriers, into places we could not physically enter? Could we reach backward into the past? Could we look toward the future? Could something buried inside the human being become an intelligence advantage? Military intelligence looked at consciousness and saw something valuable enough to investigate as a tool for spying. Valuable enough to study, valuable enough to train, valuable enough to hide the application behind classified doors. While most of us were barely encouraged to investigate consciousness at all, they saw something valuable in it. So perhaps the real question was never, what did the government discover? Perhaps the real question is, what did they recognize as valuable that the rest of us were allowed to forget?